Welcome back, hockey fans, to episode 26 of Lightin the Lamp. I'm your host, Dola, and with me, as always, is the hosts from the East Coast with the most, JG. How you doing, pal?
Oh, man, feels like it's been an absolute fucking eternity, bro.
Dude,
glad to see you on here. Glad to see you're alive. You know, we had a little break here after the draft come up, and obviously between the two of us, a lot of stuff popping up in life, so slowed down a little bit here. Got a nice little break in for the boys after 20 some odd episodes of just firing away. It's nice to get away for a few days, but ready to get right back into it here with some Rangers. Pretty excited, and another nice day on the East Coast here, hanging on to what's left of that summer and fall. And, you know, I'm sure you're having a good time out there in Cali because the weather's always fucking gorgeous.
I mean, we definitely were able to still enjoy the beach this Sunday. It was beautiful. I mean, not too hot. It's just, you know, you sit on the beach, still perfect weather, not going in the ocean anymore, really. It's just getting a bit too cold. And, you know, you got a nice breeze, but I mean, still, you're outside, you're loving it. You know, and it was a nice time in Huntington Beach. I gotta say, I've been absolutely getting destroyed at work too. Between the end of the year, a lot of people are just trying to, if they got money, spend it. So it's been great here on the West Coast, just working through things. I know you've been working like a dog too, and kind of been putting us off to just not getting on Lighting the Lamp. But absolutely excited to get back on you here, and just what a topic for us to talk about of just the NHL draft. And the last time we were on, JG, you were in a freaking subway tunnel watching us take Alexis Lafreniere. So I mean, just I
think there any more in New York than that, does it?
I mean, come on, just super blue collar, watching the draft, going back to work to build a subway for the people of New York, keep the economy going. Gotta love JG for that. And you know what we're gonna do here? We're gonna light the lamp real quick, but let's just jump right into it because, I mean, we got a lot of draft picks to talk about. The Rangers made some moves. Jeff Gorton and John Davidson were making moves in the war room, and I got to say, a lot to like here in this draft. I think the Rangers really, out of many of the teams, I think the Minnesota Wild did well. I think Ottawa did well. But I really think the Rangers came out as one of the winners of this draft.
I think this draft period was deeper than I even realized. I mean, usually I'm pretty deep into the prospect pool. I like to do a lot of watching and keeping an eye on the younger guys in the USHL, the Dub, the Q, the O. But I didn't do much of that this year other than the World Juniors. I got to see, obviously, Lafreniere. He put on a show against USA and everybody else. And, you know, that's first and foremost who we're going to start with, obviously. So before we get into my boy Alexis Lafreniere and the wonderful number he picked, I'm going to let Tim bury this Budweiser here. So Anheuser-Busch, I know you guys have been throwing chiclets, all the love, but I mean, come on now. Has Ryan Whitney or Paul Biznasty Bissonnette gotten on the horn and chugged the boot? Not once.
26 times coming up here, so we're lighting the lamp.
The 30th anniversary of Dr. Boot.
Cheers. Boot in the books, JG.
As usual.
Boot in the books. And a claw to follow it up.
You're a sick bastard. You're going to have a nice day today, huh?
Once I get these bubbles out of my chest, I will for sure.
Buzzing.
Oof. All right, so
take your wife out for a nice early afternoon lunch when she gets home from work for another couple cocktails, huh?
There you go. There you go, for sure. All right, well, JG, let's get right into it here. And with the number 1 overall pick, the New York Rangers selected Alexis Lafreniere from the Rimouski Oceanic. So, JG, you said it. You watched the World Juniors. Just talk to the fans about Alexis for us real quick.
I mean, just the ultimate compilation of everything a player is supposed to be. I mean, he plays the entire ice, 200-foot game, goes to the corners, throws the body. Hand-eye coordination is second to none, and probably the best backhand release I've seen since Sidney Crosby. So, I mean, doesn't get much better than that. I think the last player to be selected from the QMJHL first overall, and I believe from Rimouski, was Sidney Crosby. So, looks like looks to be like you know, maybe Alexis is going to be compared to the likes of the McKinnons and Crosbys in this league, and that's an exciting thing for New York Rangers fans for sure.
I think, the Rimouski coach already said he's never seen a player with as much hockey intelligence as well as
And
Alexis
he brings
Lafreniere.
the competitive edge is what, to me, is what stands out overall. I don't know, like at World Juniors, he was in people's faces, in the crease,
He was
finishing.
protecting players. He was ripping someone's helmet off. He was in front of the net. He was throwing the body.
He brings a lot of what the Rangers miss at an unbelievable skill level, which is unheard of. So the Rangers wanted sandpaper. I know you don't want to add it in a top 6 guy, but he brings all of that. He could put up 30-30. Potentially, hot take, if you want to call it that, I wouldn't. And a lot of people around the league probably wouldn't either. This is a 30-30 guy as a rookie. I mean, he's got every reason. Look who he's going to be around. You don't think they're going to put him on a power play. You don't think they're going to give him the opportunity to get on a line with Panarin. I mean, if he gets hot, this kid's got the potential to be the Calder Trophy winner. And I really hope that for the Rangers fans that it's something we get to see. I mean, it hasn't been this much excitement on Broadway in probably since the Cup 2014.
For me, I don't see, like, you might start him in the first 10 games on line 3, but I don't see how you don't move Chris Kreider to the right wing, have Mika in the middle, and then you have Lafreniere on the left side, and then you have Strome.
You got to give him I think you give him the early shot. I agree with you.
I mean, you have Panarin, Strome, and then you have Kakko, which was a great line last year, and even you can sub in Buchnevich on that line, even if you wanted to just rotate a little bit more of a gritty guy, right? But we got to give him top 6 minutes. I mean,
what intrigues me most is a guy with this much competitive edge and a guy who's going to come in and battle and compete every day in practice. What's that going to do to a guy like Kakko, who came out and admittedly was pissed at himself about how horrible his season was, and came out and actually in those 3 games versus Carolina was one of the only Ranger players to show us some flashes and really show us he's looking to make that turn. So I'm excited to see how Alexi pushes Kakko to become that 30 goal, 40 assist Finn that we saw get drafted 2nd overall. So I'm excited to see these two get together and really push each other. I think that's going to be huge for the Rangers.
Listen, it wasn't too long ago in the AHL. He was literally just walking around the offensive zone, doing circles around players, just holding the puck, waiting for his opportunity to get a goal. Like, we know what he's capable of. I think he needed to adjust to the game speed, the game size, and to be honest, he's on a line. He's on a line with Strome and Panarin. That's a pure skill line. There is no grit, and when some bigger bodies are matched up against you, they can push you guys around. They can bang bodies against you and maybe shut you down.
I think maybe, with that being said, I mean, not to get too far off topic, maybe you put Alexis Lafreniere with Panarin and Strome, and you give Kakko the shot on the top line, and now you add a little bit of that grit, because Lafreniere showed in the World Juniors was enough for me to see that he's never going to back down. He finishes everybody. The hand-eye coordination on this kid, I've never seen before. I mean, he scored a goal. He knocked a pass, a 4-foot-high saucer pass. He didn't even put his eyes down at his stick. He just knocked it down, made a pass, 2-on-1 goal. Beautiful, incredible. How many poke checks in the corner where he retrieved the puck right to the front of the net for an assist. I mean, he does everything and anything, and it's just...
I think one of his best highlights was there was basically 5 players set up, one down low, high, middle of the ice, back in the net, and he just went in between them and scored a goal top shelf right in between. Just 5 guys standing around.
You see some of the power play goals he scored, if you watch his highlight reel from the World Juniors, sitting on the left circle where Ovechkin sits, bink, top corner, all day long. So just a lot of excitement and a lot of comparables around the league that, a lot of big-time analyst guys are saying, listen, this kid is going to be like this guy. This kid is going to be like this guy. And for me to hear the likes of Crosby is just and to hear his coach say that he's never seen a player like this before is very exciting stuff.
I agree with you, JG. I don't know if you saw it today, but the Chicago Blackhawks came out with their own letter to the fans of, the moves they made on Crawford and Saad and, trading away their players and, basically saying we're in a rebuild mode to develop our talent. We were the youngest team in the playoffs, but we got that experience. We're moving forward. And it's just, I just feel with Alexis Lafreniere, the rebuild's over. We're moving forward. now we can be in win now mode. We're no longer waiting for that final piece because we got Kakko, we got Lafreniere. Now we need the sandpaper. And I think some of the guys on this list in the next 2 to 3 years really can to get into it. And I think that they can fill roles. And also with Kravtsov and Keandre Miller coming into the fold, I'm really excited just about the prospects. But I think we're there. I think it's time. And what do you think of JG before we move on here?
I mean, there's really nothing left to say. I'm just like, I can't even believe how excited I am to turn on game one and just watch this kid go. I mean, he's just that exciting. He's electric. He's lightning fast out there. He can play east, west, north, south. So again, huge time for Rangers fans here. Should be really excited. But I gotta say, not as exciting a move, but a move I was extremely excited about, and I still am, and I've been telling you about it for I don't know how long now. Braden Schneider, Brandon Wheat Kings, WHL. Obviously, your boy Jeff Gorton goes out, moves the Calgary to, what does he move them? The 72nd pick and the 22nd pick, and they move down to 19, and they steal a player that, you know, the Devils had their eye on, wanted pretty fucking bad, and the Rangers step up and they really stick it to them, and they don't want this kid to be playing against them in the future. They know the Devils are on the rebuild, and they're going to be probably back to where they were in 2012 and 13 when they were playing each other in those conference finals. You know, and at that point, we didn't want to play against Braden Schneider, apparently, because we move up to get him. But just an imposing big boy, 18 years old. I mean, he's got all the skill and talent to be a 40-point defenseman and an absolute shutdown beast. He just exciting stuff. A really nice move by Jeff Gorton and a quiet one.
So it was, this, I would say in the middle of the draft, I know you had to get back to work, but I was still on with Vinny, the one guy that tuned into the live broadcast.
Thanks,
hilarious. But I was actually surprised by this move. I watched a few more picks, and, where we've been so hot on needing to fill the center, right? And, we want the center. And you and I talked about this even afterwards. It was Jeff Gorton went with best player available. Best player that we can get available. And there was probably one of my favorite videos that I uploaded to the Light in the Lamb Facebook page was there. It literally had Jeff Gorton, John Davidson in the war room making this trade. Jeff Gorton on the phone, has a sell in hand. So he's like, what do you think? 72 and 22. We doing this for 19? Beauty. Make it happen. He puts it in. We're going. And Johnny D gives him the fist pump. He was pumped up. There was a lot of excitement in that room when that pick was made.
Good player, man. I'm telling you, I got to see him a little bit this year. Got to see a couple of highlights. He really, he doesn't remind me of. Obviously, we talked about his skating a little earlier. It's something that needs to be improved upon. But to me, like right around the same pick, I'm not sure when Carlson got drafted. But I believe John Carlson got drafted at either 17 or 19 or 21 in that range, late first round, and similar position. Obviously, he came off of a London Knights team in the OHL with John Tavares, Michael Delzato. I mean, he was on one of the great OHL rosters you've ever seen. But he was a little bit more of an offensive force, but similar type of player with a shutdown ability, a big boy. Somebody who needed to kind of grow into his own a little bit and learn how to skate, but could do it pretty quick. So I could see Schneider going to the AHL right out of his next season. If he decides to go back to Brandon, maybe he finishes the year, he goes right to Hartford, and who knows how quick we have him up as a New York Ranger. But I think this kid could potentially be on the team in the next 2 years.
I think with some of the the moves the Rangers made with Keandre Miller signing this year, and we got Jack Johnson signed as a defensive to shore up the right side. Now that we don't have Stahl there, I think right now we do probably have the top 6 or 7 set. But I definitely think within 2 years we're going to be hearing this guy's name a lot. And honestly, if we have any injuries, I bet you we work him into the we might see.
Let's talk about the fact that, the defensive issues don't end 2 years from now because Tony DeAngelo is going to become a free agent. So that 2-year contract is over, and you're going to have to pay Adam Fox. If Adam Fox is filling the same role DeAngelo is, you're not going to sign both. You're going to need the money, and you're going to need a cheap contract with a good up-and-coming player. So you probably get that in Braden Schneider, and I think that's why the Rangers move up to grab him, because they see what's coming in the future. They know they're going to lose one of Fox or D'Angelo. Whoever's better at the time is going to be who gets the contract. And I think Schneider can kind of come up and fill in a role at $900,000 for the year when they have to pay somebody big money. So, they're going
have
to
to re-sign Keandre Miller or even Nils Lundqvist. Even Nils Lundqvist, dude. Think about him.
Paco, you're gonna have to sign all these guys again. So it's nice to have these guys up and waiting in the wings on a low end contract, and probably ends up being a pretty good player for the Rangers. So I'm excited.
And I would say you lose Stahl. Stahl was never an imposing offensive first, but you know what? A phenomenal shutdown defenseman for a decade, right? And
he brings that same shutdown that Stahl did. He brings that same shutdown mentality, and he's imposing. He throws the body. But he could also probably put up 40 to 50 points. He's got the skill.
He's been putting up 40 points a year. Like I think he's been stepping into the role because it's not there, and just he's capable, he's skilled, he has a hard shot, he's a big body, and he jumps into the play. He moves forward, his just dead straight. If someone on his team has the puck, he's moving with it. I do want to say I really think that we did snake this from the Devils, like you said. I mean, how long ago was Lindy Ruff, on our team in the playoffs, and then he moved literally right after the bubble ended for us, and he went over to the Devils. So, I mean, he probably had his eyes on a lot of the players that the Rangers wanted, knew about, and were thinking of in the draft. And I'm sure that move may have surprised them, but I'm glad we made the move. I think he's going to be great. I mean, 6'2", 202 now at 18. You put 20 more pounds on him.
Probably another inch and 20 pounds before he's said and done. So, you're looking at 6'3", 220, 225. I mean, that's Alex Ovechkin size, damn near 13 pounds shy of Ovi.
That's moving someone in front of the net. I'll tell you that. Yeah, that's a hard body to beat down. But
welcome aboard, Braden Schneider. It's pretty
Braden
exciting.
Schneider. Haven't seen your jersey number. Alexis Lafreniere, number 13. Last player to wear it, Kevin Hayes. But Alexis taking over it, and you better believe I'll have that jersey soon. Heading into next year, I'm going to have an Alexis jersey. I only saw this one, the Royal Navy Blue, come out. I'm waiting for the white. I want the white or an alternate.
I'm thinking about rocking a Chesty jersey this year. I might grab me a Shesterkin.
A Chesty jersey. I don't mind it. It's either that. I just
a Kako and a Lafreniere for sure. So I'm gonna be stocking up this year on apparel.
Without a doubt. I mean, I already bought my dad the Zibanejad jersey. I like the Chesty idea. Without a doubt, a Lafreniere jersey. And
maybe you're gonna Georgiev dude.
I might go. I mean, if Lemieux has a jersey, maybe just go a Brandon
Lemieux is a favorite of mine.
Let's go.
I think that we need to pick somebody up to really teach him how to fucking finish playing his role, because he's got the potential to be a Tom Wilson type player. But
I'm loving it.
Let's move forward here. Round 2. What do you got for me on this pick, Tim?
Well, pretty excited. Round 2, think about it. The Rangers, if you even thought, we had the number 1 pick, we had the 22 pick, but we weren't supposed to be picking in round 2, right? So we made some moves in round 2, and I know you're excited about this. And honestly, I believe we got phenomenal value off this kid because he wanted out. He wanted nothing to do with the Rangers. So New York, Jeff Gorton makes a trade, trades out Elias Anderson to the Los Angeles King for the number 60th overall pick in round 2 for William Cuylle. William Cuylle out of the Windsor Spitfires, a left wing, another time again, surprising, no center in the first 3 picks, something we're looking for, but I bet you we're going to grab it in free agency. But best player up, the Rangers made a move. We had to get rid of Elias Anderson, wasn't happy. We got him off our books. He wanted a new situation. It might work out for him in LA. I hope it does. I hope he becomes a great player, but I am thrilled that we got someone that I bet is going to come in and want to be a New York Ranger.
I hope he's a serviceable NHL player. Sorry for going on the screen. I hope he's not great, though, because,
we don't want great. Yeah. We don't want you to do anything great against the Rangers.
Drafted 7 that could be playing this year, putting up 50 points, and instead, we got stuck with some guy that we decided to jump the gun on. But, I mean, obviously, we were able to get pretty lucky here with these last couple of drafts. So, we're just fine where we're at, and I'll take the second round pick for sure. This kid's got potential. Don't think he's completely maybe broken out yet, but he's definitely got potential. Played on some awesome Toronto Marlboro teams, U16 AAA, U15 AAA, and 241 and a 42-point season, pretty similar. A little more goal scoring in 2018-19. He had 26, 15 assists. And then you got him at 22 and 20 this year, a little more evenly distributed. But maybe he brings a little of that third-line sandpaper that we miss because he is physical. He does put up some penalty minutes. He's not a ton, but he's definitely not afraid to get involved. So, I mean, maybe just trying to fill in a little bit of that sandpaper and skill mix coming from a really good program too.
So I would say biggest thing that I really liked about this kid, not exactly what you said, 6'3", 204 pounds. But the biggest things that actually even stood out to me is that the second year in the OHL, obviously you said 41 points the first year, 42 points the second year, but he also had the first year 30 PIMs and the second year 50 PIMs. So he's obviously mixing it up. He's in the corner. He's grinding. He is in the play. He is not the person just sitting on the top of the circle or in the slot waiting for the puck to put it top shelf. And two other things that I really liked. One, that he was also on the Team Canada Black team with Quinton Byfield, the number 2 overall pick that went to the LA Kings. And that year that they were on Team Canada together, Quinton Byfield had 3 points and William Cuylle, he had 3 points. Like, Byfield didn't outpace him for extra points. Cuylle was still just as maybe – I wouldn't say maybe as much of a force, but still, listen, he's still out there making plays and being an impact player. And beyond that, probably my favorite thing about the kid, when I watch some highlights, dude, this kid does not make fancy moves. If you look at him, he has a rocket shot and he fires pucks. Even if he's out alone on a street, he just shoots. He shoots all the time, and it's always a missile.
I actually got to watch a couple of highlights, just a few days ago. I was watching some highlights of him on YouTube and a few other places, and he is one of the most technically gifted shooters. I mean, he could pull a shot into the side of his skate and release the puck like he's got it 2 feet out off his body. I mean, it's incredible where he could shoot from and how he could change the angle. And also, he's great on the one touch. I got to watch some of his – as soon as he catches a pass, his release is so incredible. He doesn't even have to – he doesn't have to do anything. He could just tap it, and he puts it where he wants to put it. He's a very, very gifted shooter. So pretty excited. Great value.
Think about that shoot first mentality, though. That it's on my stick, it's off my stick. Like I'm in the zone, I'm firing this on net. Like what I like about a player like that is it's never going to be fancy. It's never going to be a saucer pass across the middle, but you're always going to get a shot on net, and this kid's going to test tenders all the time. And you see it. That's why he has 83 points in 125 OHL games, right? Because he's taking control of opportunities. And I like that, right? And especially, what did we hear from Pat Maroon, Blake Coleman, everyone from Tampa Bay? You know, they were talking to Biz Nasty Chicklets afterwards, and they were like, how, Patty Maroon, how is this different than when it was with St. Louis? And with St. Louis, they were kind of the underdog team, the grimy team, the grinders. Whereas with Tampa Bay, you have 4 lines of scorers, goal scorers, people that can put pucks in the net. And it was different from an aspect of they have 4 lines that can score. Well, maybe the Rangers can finally get something like that going, because if Will Cuylle is another left winger, now we got Panarin, now we got Kreider, now we got Lafreniere, now we got Cuylle. I mean, the left wing it's fucking stacked. But if we're scoring goals on every line, I don't see how we don't win a cup.
I agree. I mean, I think this is just, again, we keep talking about it, but some great picks and just a lot of value and just an exciting time to be a New York Ranger fan. It really is.
I'm interested. We'll have to say this is one of the ones I want to watch. I think we're going to see a lot of impact from obviously Braden Schneider. We're going to instantly see an impact from Alexis Lafreniere. Not because obviously what we talked about again is once you get outside of the first 15 picks, fans, I mean, it's a bit of a project. Like, I'm sorry, it's not going to be next year. It's going to be 2-3 years down the line.
Well, in most cases, I mean, there is Jamie Benz and guys of that caliber.
Dominique Kubelik's in the 7th round being
Braden Point. You know what I mean?
In the third round. Okay, I get you, but like, come on.
But rare, but very rare. So I will agree.
It's the exception, not the rule, right? I mean, beyond like pick 15, 20, usually they're in the AHL a couple years. Usually they're working in Sweden, they're working in Russia, and then they come here. And that's fine. But you know what? I definitely think from those top 2 picks, we'll get an impact player. But definitely excited to see Will Cuylle come out and hopefully it make an impact on the 3rd and 4th line for us long term. But we're going to go into round 3 here, fans. I mean, I'm sorry, we're moving a little bit slow, but round 3 coming up. We picked Oliver Tarnstrom out of Sweden, center, not 6 foot. I mean, the one thing this kid's going to have to do is just start hitting stakes because he's 158 pounds. So, I mean, we're going to have to start putting something on that body.
He's a nifty little fucker, though. He's a nifty little fucker. I watched a little bit of the Sweden U18 World Junior last year, International Junior, the tournament he played in, and nifty little fucker. He can move. He could shake. Like a poor man's Johnny Gaudreau almost. Like not nearly as good, I don't think he'll be, but I mean, definitely a good little player. Not at 3rd round, I think it's a value pick again. He's had some success. U16 division. He played for AIK at 22 points in 25 games, mostly assists. Seems to be a bit of a playmaker. He played AIK U18s, the elite, which is their best 18 league out in Sweden. He had 6 goals, 13 assists, 19 points, 20 games. Then that same season, he played in the J18. It's another league, Alex Van. He had 15 games played, 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points. So, and then he played J20 Super Elite, and he was young. He was only like 16 years old. So he played 10 games. He didn't have any points, but that's a pretty big feat. And then this year he plays in the Super League, the 20 Super League, and he has 11 goals, 23 assists, 34 points in 41 games. So, I mean, for a defensive league, a league that breeds great defensemen and goaltenders, all the Swedish leagues do. Pretty impressive to see this kid be able to put up at almost a point a game pace. So, another value pick for the Rangers, I think.
Again, like I'm excited about this pick. I always love the Swedes we pick. I love the Finns we pick. I love the Russians we pick. We do. I mean, I really feel the one thing I can never get angry about the Rangers as of recent, right? You talked to me 5 years ago, I would say we draft like shit. We go out in free agent, we spend the farm.
Well, once we let Gorton take the reins, things change.
Once Gordon, once John Davidson, once Chris Drury, we're all in place. Like, I really feel like the talent pool and the eyes for talent is just spectacular. I think this kid, if you put 30 pounds of meat on his bones, he's a player. Like, now you got a strong, dense player that can score goals. Like, again, we're talking about filling in that 3rd line, that 4th line. And really, we need that next player up mentality, kind of how Dallas and also Tampa Bay had to play, where some players, they had to keep calling up people until you get to like someone like Kiviranta that can just make some moves for you. Yeah. You know, in the playoffs, have some game-winning goals, have like some gritty goals, have something impact your team. But excited about this. I don't really feel we're going to hear his name for a bit here. He might be a piece that gets traded, I would say, to be honest. If he starts showing something good, he could be a something we provide to another team. We don't know, but he's a center. We need center. So I like him in the roster, but definitely we'll see what happens with this kid. Again, he's got to get some meat on his bone. 160 pounds ain't going to work in the NHL. Let's just be realistic, right?
This is a pick I didn't understand here. Didn't really think we needed to go into too much goaltending. I thought there was a lot. You kind of see a lot of the value teams are getting in the 4th and 5th round. Like, every year there's a team that has this guy that came out of the 4th round or the 5th round or the 7th round that's a stud. And you kind of not waste. The kid is a good goaltender, great stats in the WHL. It seems like the Rangers are kind of scouring around the WHL a little bit. Schneider, they grab the goalie out of the WHL. So 2 out of their 4 picks or whatever are WHL guys. Not a problem because I love the Dub, big, heavy league. They play like a league that plays like the Chicago Blackhawks and LA Kings of 2012 and 13. A very heavy type league. So he's seeing shots. He's seeing traffic in front of the net. Apparently, he moves really well laterally, and he's pretty good at picking back up on himself when he misreads a shot. So probably if they're picking him in the 4th round, he's obviously a good goaltender because you know the Rangers love their goaltenders and they don't waste picks on them. They get good guys when they pick goaltenders. So, I mean, obviously probably a good pick and great stats for him this year. He played Canada Red last year. He had 4 games, 2.3 goals against, and a .930 save percentage. This year he plays 42 games as the starter for Kamloops, 2.21 goals against, and a .921 save percentage.
So
for that.
So what I see in this pick, and our boy Benoit Allaire, our absolute stud of a goaltending coach for 18 years now, like literally the man with the plan. So what this kid is being compared to at 6'0", he's being compared to Henrik Lundqvist. He is a precision person, technical, hand like lightning. You can't beat his glove hand. He sits deep in the crease. He's precise side to side, and I could just see him being, again, like I agree with you. I don't know what we're doing just because we have Tyler Wall, Adam Husker, Igor Shesterkin, Alexander Georgiev, who we just re-signed. We have just like a wealth of riches in goaltenders, but I still like this pick because, like, again, when we look, goaltenders, JG, we said it, they don't show up on the radar for 5 years. Sorry, I'm not sorry. It isn't a fucking thing. So we're going to get 5 years with Shesterkin. We're going to see how it goes. I don't want to guarantee it, but I feel like Georgiev will get a contract elsewhere. We'll bring in Wall. We'll bring in Huska just to work them in. I feel like maybe Garand gets his chance as the AHL goaltender. Right? Like, I feel like we might be planning that Seattle might be taking a goaltender like Georgiev from us because he might be cheap. And he also is a great goaltender. So maybe we're planning on that, and maybe we're planning on some of the roster coming up and us filling a couple slots. But I agree with you. Maybe not always a pick you want to make in the 4th. I feel like goaltenders are usually always kept like in a fantasy draft, like to the 6th and 7th. Usually they're not taken off the board high. We actually did see a goalie get drafted in the 1st round in the top 10 picks this year, though, which I thought was wild. But Nashville drafted a goaltender, and it seems like they picked who's inheriting the throne from Pekka Rinne. So I definitely saw that. I thought that was interesting this year at the draft. But, again, it's just something that the Rangers did. But if there's one thing that I will always trust the Rangers on drafting any player, it's a goaltender. I think it's a goaltender. I don't think we've ever missed on when we draft or even sign a goaltender in free agency. I don't think we've missed.
I don't disagree with you, but I want to get into this pick because this kid is a stud. This could be that 5th round pick that I'm talking about, that all of a sudden out of nowhere you're like, whoa, who's this guy? Like 2 years from now, he is just 6 foot.
He's one of the prospects that
definitely needs to put a couple of pounds on. But I mean, listen, damn near a point, over a point a game, I think. What do you got? Where are you? I had it. There it is.
So Evan Vierling was one of the reasons why analysts thought that we had some of the best steals of the draft. It's actually this pick and our next pick that were the 2 value picks that people just absolutely love. So I don't know too much about these kids, but excited to hear what you have to say.
This kid is a stud. This is a kid that I got to keep my eyes on a little bit. He played for the Flint Firebirds last year. Rookie year, has 6 goals, 21 assists, 27 points, a horrendous -27, not on a good hockey team, is what it is. Plays for Canada Red, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points, 2 PIMs, +1. And then this year he starts with the Flint Firebirds, again, another bad team. I guess they trade him along. He's got 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points, 15 games. He gets traded to an unbelievable Barrie Colts organization, and he's got 12 goals, 22 assists, 34 points, 28 games played. So over a point a game. Young, small, needs to put on some weight, but he's super enthusiastic about mucking it up. He loves to get in the corners. He loves face washing. He loves to be in there, and he's the type of player the New York Rangers need, and he is a dual threat scorer. He's a dual threat scorer. He can put an assist up. He can snipe. He can one-time. Whatever you want him to do, he can do it. He's got He's got the ability to be one of those players that's like that 5th round Jamie Benn. Like, wow, I have a guy that's got 80 points.
You think he's going to be our Sorelli better? Because Sorelli came up with some big ass points.
I don't know how quick it takes. This could be a value pick that takes 4 to 5 years. But when it happens, you're like, holy shit, look at this fucking kid. How did we get him in the 5th round?
Look at the Islanders, their whole fucking team, man. 5 years, just studs now, just taking over the league.
Now, like for me, this pick is just grade A stuff. So very excited about Evan Vierling. Love that he loves to muck it up. Love that he's a shooting threat, and I love that he could score. And most of all, he's a two-way player. And again, I said he's a dual threat scorer. You know, he's unbelievable, dude. This is a great pick. Fantastic.
Think about it, though. Think about it. Like you even said, Mika Zibanejad coming up on 2 years. Like we have to be prepared that we might not be able to pay all the studs we have now. And if we can't win now, we have to win in the future. And I got to say, Jeff Gorton, John Davidson doing it right, setting us up for the future, getting us depth, getting us picks, getting us basically everything we're going to need, hopefully, in the future. But we're excited about Evan Vierling. Center, 6'0", right now. 167 pounds. You put another 30 on him, he's going to be a stud. And that's all you really need. You just need do some box jumps, do some power cleans. You're going to get there, kid. Eat some steaks. You know, no big deal.
Next guy's even smaller, and I love it.
Next guy's even smaller, but I think he has more upside even than Evan does. Because everything I've read about this kid has just been
not related to Brian Berard. That's crazy.
Everything I've read about him is that this kid is an absolute stud. Even if you look at 5'9", 155 pounds, he has been lighting it up. He is one of the youngest kids in the draft. What he's been doing, it's been impressive. It's been impressive his entire career.
NHL year. He had a great year. 41 games played, 16 goals, 18 assists, 34 points, U.S. National Development U18, U.S. National Development Juniors, USHL, 13 games played, 7 goals, 11 assists, 18 points, 18 PIMs, plus 12. Wow.
Dude, you're telling me that a kid this size, this weight is smoking players at his weight and his size. That's not
maybe he is the poor man's Johnny Gaudreau that I was talking about. Because from what I've read on him, I haven't seen this guy. This is a pick I will admittedly say I haven't seen much on. Berard packs high octane offensive talent into a 5'9" package. Sees an opportunity to shoot, pass, or support, and he immediately acts. He's a dual threat attacker with a bit of skill beyond the offense. He layers deception through false signals sent to the opposition with his eyes and through his body language, which that's huge. He works the puck through the defensive triangle. So basically saying, this kid massive amounts of height, can do it all. So.
This kid has the unteachable. Like, come on,
Whalers guy, huh? South Shore Kings. Okay, so a Massachusetts born guy.
So JG, think about the unteachable stuff. Like, you could teach a guy to skate hard, to hit, to stick handle, but to have his eyes look elsewhere, to have himself move and shift and misdirect teams. That is an impressive skill by a player, and obviously this kid has used that talent beyond his size to be able to move. And think about it, dude. Like, these leagues, even when you play for the NADP team, you're not playing small people. You're going up and playing Canadians. You're going up and playing like you're playing Russians. You're playing boys and men. So I'm impressed.
If you just go to if you just go to the leagues that he's played in, like, I mean, just he played for a great 14U team at South Shore. Then he goes to the Brick Invitational, which the likes of Tyler Seguin and many other great players have played in. Then he plays for the Cape Cod Whalers, who are one of the ultimate travel, like, prep school U16 teams in the New England area and all over the country. They're always top 10. Then he goes to he plays in the Quebec Pee Wee tournament, 3 games, 3 goals when back in the day. Then straight to USA hockey, like right out of U16 to USA hockey with a commitment to Providence College. Obviously,
do you know who else did that at 5'9"? Kyle Palmieri. Kyle Palmieri at 5'9" went to the U.S. national team after our sophomore year in high school, just because we kept playing against each other and with each other at St. Peter's Prep. After sophomore year at 17, he went off to the NADP team. He was still 5'10". He was probably 165 at the time, 170. He was still a strong kid at the time. He was always a strong, dense boy. But I'm saying, you look at this kid, he had a similar situation. He was on the Saints team. He went to the Quebec national tournament, studded up there. Like, I'm just saying, it's a very similar thing. And what if we get a guy that's 30, 40 points just like Cuylle? I mean, what else can you ask for?
Now Cuylle scores fucking 40, 50 points. He scores 20, 25 goals, 20, 25 assists. He's a solid second-line player all day long. And a power play guy. He's got some shot around the house. If he's got 6 to 10 feet from the net, he could score from anywhere.
Yeah, he always had that touch. He always had the look, the touch. He always had the feel. And hopefully this kid has the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
get into you like this pick. You love this pick apparently.
Listen,
Rempe, 6'8", 236 pounds on Elite Prospects. Where does the man come out of? Seattle in the WHL. Let's check you out, Matt Rempe.
So do you know, I mean, do I really have to explain why I'm excited about this next pick? We just drafted a 6'8" center that's 200 and almost 40 pounds as an 18-year-old. Like, what else? I mean, this kid is a
kid. Holy shit.
He's not that great of a skater, but I mean, eventually, if they can, just like you said with Johnny Carlson, if we could just get him over the next 3 years, 4 years to just know body positioning, placement, hockey IQ, and get his feet under him. Listen, a 6'8" defenseman, you put him on the fourth line, dude, that is some sandpaper just standing in front of a goal. Dude, some goaltenders are 6'8". You got to get him.
He's a huge center.
That's a center. That is why we have a 6'8" center in our wheelhouse now. Like, come on, that's
not much on this pick. Obviously, I don't even think they have much. I think this is just like this kid's got potential. He's huge. He's put up some points last year. 31 points in 46 or 47 games. So obviously has some potential. He's young. He's gigantic. He's got to learn how to use his body still. So not a bad pick. And let's lead this one right into the 7th pick, which is also equally as massive a player. Another goaltender. Sounds to me like we're going for the Ben Bishop look here. Hugo Ollas, 6'8", 220 pounds out of Linkoping in Sweden. So massive tendy. He's huge. 6 foot.
Well, think about it, dude. I mean, that's kind of the trend, right? The NHL, you got Ben Bishop. How many goaltenders? Pecorine, big boy. Ben Bishop, big boy. How many of these goaltenders are just huge, right? And when they do that, they take up the entire top part of the net. Their legs take up the top bottom. You don't have to play like Lundqvist where you're sitting back in the crease, moving side to side. You basically can come up and play at the top of the crease or a little outside it, and there's no room behind you. You can basically cut off all angles. And, I like this pick.
He's got some stats.
Listen, I like this pick because it's not something we normally go with. We don't normally go with the big tenders. We go with that Lundqvist. We go with the 6'0", 6'2" guy, the precision movement left to right, sits back in the crease, waits for the shot, makes you make the move, and then he beats you with his reflexes. But I think this is just a big boy moving into the future, just a different look from a goaltender.
It's an animal. I mean, from what I'm reading here, too, this kid is literally, he's basically robotic in the way he handles himself in net. So, like, another pick where you're just like, value. I mean, if you go through his stats here from 2017, let's see, U16, he played 24 games in Linkoping U16s, which is the Swedish league, like some of the other players we talked about. 24 games, 2.28 goals against, 918 save percentage. Then he goes to the J18 Elite for 2 games. He's got a .60 and a 977 in his debut with the 18 team. Studley. Then he plays with the 18 team the next year, 11 games. He's a 1.81 with a 920. Plays for the Alex Van 18 team, 1.39 with a 942 in 9 games. So international junior that same year, U17s, 3 games played, 1.62 goals against and a 931. And then this year, he struggled a little bit in 2019-20. He had 23 games played and basically around a 900 and a 2.4 goals against. So still good stats, not as good as in the past. Moves up to the Nationals this year. He's J20 National. 9 games played so far, 2.2 goals against and a 906. So another kid that's probably not as far off as you think. 3 to 4 years, like for a goaltender, when we have all the goaltenders we have, maybe just a piece to send somewhere else.
You really hate just thinking about it like that, but I mean, we have to start thinking like that.
Because the other guy is being compared to Lundqvist. Benoit Laire's not letting him go. That kid stays in the program because if he thinks he's got another Lundqvist on his hands, that was his bread and butter. I mean, he turned Lundqvist into the.
That's his style of play, though. That's his favorite style of play. The deep play. You wait for the person to take the shot, make the move, and then they don't have time before you react as a goaltender because you're not moving left to right. You're just sitting and sitting and sitting and waiting, and then you make the shooter shoot. In a big goaltender, you come out and play them, and then it becomes the dipsy doodle, like, can I fake you left? Can I fake you right? Because I have all day behind you to shoot, right? With Lundqvist, you had to just beat him. So it's a different style of play, Benoit Laire. I mean, I'll never speak against you. You do you. Just pick whoever you need to pick. Just keep filling up the roster, and if we have to ship people off, we'll ship people off. It is what it is, right? At that point.
So just to end this segment, I mean, overall, I haven't looked at anybody else's draft, but I wouldn't see how the Rangers could be outside the top 5 to 7 of grades.
So there were definitely some things that
draft.
Ottawa had a hell of a draft. I mean, there was a lot of people that had a hell of a draft, but
Ottawa,
one thing
they got an Anaheim Ducks like draft when they got Perry and Getzlaf. So,
well, one thing I was even, I know we have so much skill. But at 19, when we took Braden Schneider, we could have taken Hendrix Lapierre. Like that was a big name coming out, and yeah, he's had some concussions, but that kid has been apparently a stud. Maybe we could have taken another stud. Do we need another stud? Right. So it's all interesting. Marco Rossi, he went off the board at 9 to the Minnesota Wild. He was another talked about one of the best prospects in the draft. He went a little bit later. But I got to say, I'm interested to watch Quentin Byfield. I want to see him in LA. I want to watch him make an impact. I was almost
hoping the Rangers would make some epic move to get to the second pick in the draft, and we could just take Byfield and Lafreniere 1 and 2.
And just walk away and just be like, give us the cup.
Yeah, hand it to us next year. Because, this kid Byfield could potentially not be as far behind as everybody. People just said, oh, Lafreniere's ready. He definitely is, and he probably is going to be the better player this year. But Byfield could very well go into the league and go 2020 and be right there. Not be too far behind. So
Byfield's almost like 9 to 10 months younger than Lafreniere.
Yeah, it's true too. But and LA's got a hell of a prospect pool. Holy shit.
They're like the Rangers, man. It's deep. It's a deep well that they gotta go to.
The last thing I ever want is to go back to a cup with LA after the catastrophe last time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I don't want any part of that. I don't want no part of that.
On that note, we just barreled an hour on the NHL draft. As usual, trying to keep her high and tight. Never happens. We had way too much to talk about. Way too much excitement with these players. So glad we got the everybody.
I mean, come on. The front office did well. I think we filled in well. I think we picked picks right. I think we went after players that were either going to fill the future or just make an impact now. I think I actually just continue to have faith in this front office. I continue to like what they're doing and just the culture they're building and the players they're building it around. So, not much negative to say about the Rangers. We hope that now that the team has maybe felt some playoffs, maybe, also after getting embarrassed, maybe come out with some fire next year. Because last year when we came out in 2019 season, it was pretty shitty, JG. We won, lost one. Then we got to the middle of the season after the All-Star break, and we finally turned on a fucking switch. So, I really hope we don't have to live through that.
I think this season we're gonna have some excitement to be looking forward to. To be honest with you, obviously we're gonna be looking. Obviously, we think we're a playoff team and whatever, but I'm just excited to see what we could kind of put together and figure out and all that. So I'm excited. The draft, what a preview here. A lot of value you don't even realize until you go through everybody at once. So this could potentially be one of the Rangers' biggest drafts in the last 20 years. So this is pretty exciting stuff. Great to talk to you. Pretty excited about this, and we still got some more stuff.
It's been a minute.
So
it's been a minute. It's been a while. Been a minute. We haven't talked in a while, but fans.
Down here now, though, so the content will be back, and if you guys could like, share, follow, we appreciate everything. And this episode was fantastic. It's been great to be back with you guys, and appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it, fans. We're going to be coming back to you with a lot of free agents, NHL free agency talk, a lot of offseason signings. JG, Jesus. I mean, everything that's been going on in the offseason has just been absolutely bonkers. Doc Eric retired, just plenty to talk about still. It's amazing that the offseason is keeping us busy.
We're gonna have another 3 episodes this week, so be engaged, fans, because we're coming at you with a whole bunch more content.
We're coming in hot, but cheers, fans. We appreciate you signing on. GG, always a pleasure to be on, and we'll be coming back to you with more Light in the Lamp. All right, we're signing out.